All right, I want to welcome you today and thank you for coming. As you all know, my name is Jefferson Dickinson, and I want to talk to you today a little bit about student-led learning. This is my action research presentation, specifically the Jigsaw Strategy and how it affects student comprehension, as well as some of your thoughts on the strategy itself. Obviously, as teachers, we all want what's best for our students, but we can't always be involved with that one-on-one instruction. There's no magic, all-inclusive strategy out there that we can use. So how do we maintain the level of rigor that we want in our classroom? How do we engage students, all students, on some level? How do we produce those productive members of society that we're after? Obviously, no simple answer, but there's a place to start, and it is student-led learning. Okay? Students are responsible for their learning here. They take some ownership. They help with the learning of their peers, their cohorts. With that responsibility also comes self-assessment and a self-awareness. Students build and maintain necessary speaking and listening skills, which are so important in this day and age. All students are engaged in the learning process, and students experience and cultivate the mindset of a learner, which is what we are absolutely after. Okay? The purpose of this study, as a content area, we all want to share the goal of expanding student engagement. The administration obviously wants more student-led classrooms. They've talked to us about that. And students need to be more responsible for their education. Students need to self-assess, and they need to track their progress. And as students become better readers, they're going to become better learners. And that's why I think the Jigsaw is going to work so well, because it's not something that's just going to happen in English class. It's going to happen in other classes as well. So that brings us to the research questions. Question 1. How does student-led learning, specifically the Jigsaw Strategy, affect student content comprehension? Question 2, what are teachers' views of student-led learning, specifically the Jigsaw Strategy, and its effect on student content comprehension? These are the questions that are going to drive this research, so that takes me to the literature review. The National Council of Teachers of English states teachers provide effective reading instruction when they expect all students to achieve. When they use a variety of instructional groupings, including whole group, small group, individual instruction, and they provide multiple learning experiences. Use multiple instructional methods, such as shared reading, guided reading, and literature discussion circles, as appropriate for the students. Also encourage students to use effective reading strategies, such as self-monitoring for meaning and self-correcting when meaning breaks down. And obviously, we want to gradually release instructional responsibility to support independent reading. Okay, these are things that we all want to do as teachers to have better readers, and again, that's going to transcend into other classrooms. The East Carolina University College of Education defines the purpose of the Jigsaw Strategy: a means of unifying students of diverse ethnicity, gender, race, and ability into cooperative groups. It supports both independent learning strategies and collaboration, building self-confidence and respect for peers as students adopt the role of expert, and facilitating the development of social skills such as mentoring and peer teaching. Doug Buell discusses the benefits of the Jigsaw Strategy in developing readers for the academic disciplines. It's not always necessary to read all of the work to provide valuable interactions with complex text. Groups of students jigsaw different sections of a text, with each group responsible for working out their understandings and sharing with their cohorts, who will reciprocate with their sections. Teachers can jigsaw reading, providing students with multiple texts, each containing facets of learning on a disciplinary topic, and each at a different level of difficulty for the lexile. Fisher, Brozo, Frey, and Ivey discuss different approaches to the Jigsaw Strategy in 50 instructional routines to develop content literacy. The selection of the text to be read can be varying depending on the intended purpose. The reading may be all closely related to one another. The readings may offer different points of view on the same topic, which I think that's a very neat way to go. Divide a single reading into sections so that it can be fully understood only when each section has come back and had the opportunity to discuss. The idea that each student in the group becomes an expert and then brings that knowledge back, I think really will bolster confidence for the students. Okay? So the methods that I will use to collect the data. Student data will be collected during a reading lesson in which students will use the Jigsaw Strategy as an instructional protocol. Formative results will be collected by exit slips, and student data will help answer questions. Will help answer question 1 for this study. They'll be using this strategy on an informational text. And collection of teacher data. Teacher data will be collected through a Likert survey. And teacher data will help answer question 2 for the study. All right, data analysis. Data from the research will be compared, and findings will be determined from both sources. All right, procedures. Obviously, we start with the end in mind, right? The process, we're going to implement the lesson with Jigsaw Strategy. Some students will use the strategy during the reading of an informational text. We're going to analyze and display data to determine the effect of the strategy on student content, comprehension, comparing results with students not using the Jigsaw Strategy. We're going to distribute a Likert survey to content area teachers to gauge their views on the Jigsaw Strategy. We'll obviously analyze and display those results and determine patterns from both data collection methods. And obviously I've already done that. So that brings us to our findings. In this first one, this is question 1, the informational text lesson. On the left, you'll see that the Jigsaw implemented lesson, the students did quite well with an average score of 90. The lesson that was not implemented in the Jigsaw Strategy, the students averaged only an 82. That's basically a difference of a letter grade. So we see that Jigsaw is effective when used correctly. This is some more of the findings. This is question number 2. I asked 3 teachers these questions, and they answered with the Likert. 1 being strongly disagree, 2 is disagree, 3 is agree, and 4 is strongly agree. For the first question, student-led learning enhances student engagement. We can see that teacher A felt that she agreed with that. Teachers B and C both strongly agreed. If you'll notice that teacher B strongly agreed with all of the questions. Question 2, student-led learning helps students achieve content mastery. Again, teacher A felt that she agreed, and teachers B and C strongly agreed. Question 3, the Jigsaw Strategy is a simple yet effective classroom strategy. Well, on question 3, only teacher B strongly agreed, and the other 2 teachers still agreed. So across the board, other than question 4, every answer is positive. Question 4, though, I often use the Jigsaw Strategy in my lesson. Teacher C used it some, she said, about half, or she agreed that she used it some. Actually, she disagreed that she used it. Okay? Question 5, I could benefit from professional development on student-led learning. Every teacher was strongly in agreement based on the answers to their questions. Okay, so how does student-led learning, specifically the Jigsaw Strategy, affect student content comprehension? Well, based on the action research, it can be determined that students are more successful when student-led learning, specifically the Jigsaw Strategy, is implemented. A comparison with the group that did not implement the strategy shows an average of a letter grade difference in performance. Specifically 8 points, which almost every time will result in a letter grade difference. So there's no question that when students take ownership that they're going to be more successful. Okay. Question number 2, what are teachers' views of student-led learning, specifically the Jigsaw Strategy, and its effect on student content comprehension? Well, for the most part, teacher views of student-led learning and Jigsaw Strategy are favorable. Based on the action research and the questions asked, a clear path forward appears. So based on that chart that you just saw, everything's basically positive. Just one teacher didn't use it as much. Okay? So the action research results also confirm the relevance of the literature referenced. Okay? Taken all together, the evidence from the action research supports that student-led learning and the Jigsaw strategy immensely and positively affect student content comprehension. Future action based on this collaboration implications, obviously. A repetition of the research, we want to confirm the results, but I think we can all agree that Jigsaw works. It just wasn't positive it worked that well. Implementation of student-led learning on a larger scale across our content area. The school-wide involvement in sharing these findings. Everyone should be using the Jigsaw strategy. We can help them learn how. We can show them our results and help them be successful in their classroom. Our request for professional development on student-led learning. That's where the help comes in. That's where we all get on board with student-led learning, and we have it across the curriculum. A collaboration among all schools in the district regarding the effectiveness of this protocol. I think that the Jigsaw strategy and student-led learning is very effective, and I think that we need to be using it basically on all grade levels. Even at the youngest grade levels, I think it can be quite effective. Conclusion then, so designing, implementing, analyzing, and sharing this action research has bolstered the content area and opportunities for student success, which of course is what we're after in the long run. Discovering other teachers' views has helped solidify student-led learning as a priority. Collaborating on student-led learning at the building and district levels is the next necessary step. Okay? So future action research should pursue the effectiveness of other variations of student-led learning. Obviously, Jigsaw is not the only one. There's quite a few out there, and I think implementing all of those would benefit us greatly. Here are the references I used. Again, I want to thank you for being here and listening. I hope that this has been informative for you. Are there any questions?